Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
In Seattle, Washington.
Who raised you?
My mother and my grandparents.
Any siblings in there?
Yeah, I have two siblings. My brother and my sister. I have two younger siblings.
Oh, you're the oldest. And tell me about your dynamic growing up. What did you guys do for fun growing up?
I used to babysit them a lot, take care of them a lot,
Oh, gotcha.
and before they came, it was just me and my mom. She was a teenage mom.
Okay. And what do you remember about that time?
We were at my grandparents' house a lot. We used to visit there a lot, and my mom used to just work work like jobs and stuff, and yeah, uh, yeah, nothing significant really.
And you went to school in Seattle? Elementary school and did all that? High school? Junior high?
Shoreline more so.
What was happening in high school? What were you doing?
Um,
Any hobbies or?
Becoming a teenage mom.
Oh, interesting. I was just talking to somebody else about that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I got pregnant with my oldest when I was 15 and had her when I was 16.
I have 3 little girls, and tell me about that process of meeting your daughter for the first time. What was that like?
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, tell me. What comes up?
My kid just turned 18. Yeah, I kept my daughter by myself with my mom's help. And then I was a dancer for a while, an exotic dancer. And I started working harder hours to help support like my family and stuff, and I met somebody at the club who I started dating, and he started giving me like this stuff. He started giving me my body started hurting, so I couldn't work all the time, and he started giving me perk 30s to help me work longer hours, and I didn't realize that it was like heroin.
Was that like the first time you'd ever, done quote unquote hard drugs? In a sense?
Yeah, my mom had a meth addiction when I was younger, and when I was 15, and I had run away from home, and was out here with my oldest daughter's dad, I had experimented with like biker meth to try to see if I would have like an addiction to it. I wasn't old enough to realize that addiction has a lot to do with the addiction is based upon like your mental disorder or whatever, mental chemical imbalance you have, and so I thought that I was like proving a point if I didn't become addicted to it, and I didn't realize it was just because that my chemical makeup is different than my mom's, and so I'm not, uppers don't do the same thing for me as downers do.
Right.
So I kind of thought that I was like done with the whole drug thing after I had my kid. Well, after I got pregnant and had my kid and stuff, and then I got introduced back to perk. I got introduced to perk 30s when I was like in my early 20s, and I had a really hard time staying on and off of them and continuing dancing and stuff, trying to support the luxurious lifestyle I was trying to give my kid. And then and then I moved to Oregon for a little bit to try to. My mom kept my kid for a year so I could get clean. And I moved to Oregon because I couldn't stay sober in Washington, and I was dancing still. And so I stayed sober, but I got with my ex-husband, Mohammed from Saudi Arabia.
What comes up? Yeah, there's pieces too where you don't have to tell me those things or anything as well, because I can see that it's painful. It's totally fine to skip parts, not go to parts, whatever you need to do.
Me and Muhammad got together, and I was helping teach him English, and we started dating, and we had a kid together, and then we got married, and he helped me raise my oldest daughter. And our younger daughter, Ariana.
Would you say this was like a good time, I guess? A bright moment in your life?
Yeah.
Well, tell me some of the bright moments, I think that's hopefully I don't know. I guess it's painful and bright at the same time. I don't know.
He got his visa taken away, and so he had to go back to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow. You guys legally got married, though? And doesn't that make him a citizen? I guess. Yeah.
Every country that America deals with is different.
Ah, gotcha.
It's not like with Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that.
Gotcha.
Saudi Arabia has different relations.
I see.
And all the girls when I was dancing used to tell me not to marry him and not to put his name on our daughter's birth certificate, because then he could take her. But I didn't think that was true. But after he left, I got really depressed and things got really rough for me, and I realized that he wasn't coming back, that he couldn't come back. And I don't think I ever stopped being sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still grieving. How long ago was this?
In 2016, 2017.
Yeah. And your daughters?
They got taken away by CPS.
Oh, wow. Damn.
And I was in a domestic violence relationship. And I couldn't get the guy to leave. And my family wasn't talking to me. And right after my husband left, me and my mom stopped talking. My brother and my sister, who I helped raise, we all just stopped talking. Well, they all just stopped talking to me. Nobody seemed to really care about the state of mind that I was in or understand.
Yeah, it sounds like you were very alone in all that.
And I was in a really dark spot. And then I was having issues with the Shoreline Police Department messing with me. And my mom didn't believe me. And then the Shoreline Police contacted CPS and had them go to my daughter's school and talk to my oldest daughter. And a lot of things were going on. They had one of this guy that I thought I was friends with. They had him come into my house and take pictures and stuff of my house. He posed. I don't know. It's not something I should talk about. I don't think it's gonna make me sound crazy.
Yeah, skip it then.
And they came with an emergency removal of kids for neglect and stuff. But I had an apartment, and my apartment had water, my apartment had electricity, I had food stamps, but the third day that I was supposed to go get my kids after 3 days, you have a period you can get your kids back if it's proven it's false. And I still had my car. I had gotten another car at the time, and when I went to go there, I had gone with the guy that I was in a domestic violence situation with, and he hadn't started beating me up until my kids got taken.
Wow.
I guess he was just waiting for the perfect time or whatever.
I'm sorry, that is a lot for a person to bear.
And the Shoreline police called my mom and told her that they thought that if I didn't go somewhere else, that he might end my life. And she said I should have thought about that before I got her grandkids taken away.
That's a shitty thing to say.
And I don't know. None of the things that have happened to me since then have ever really seemed to matter to the family that I was born to. I don't really have a family. I wish I'd known that, though, before I fucking spent most of my life on this earth helping take care of him.
Yeah, a lot of us have what I like to call chosen family, that are not blood, but people who know us better, care about us. And I'm curious if you have something like that, a community of people that actually know you and care about you.
No. 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 And since I've been out here, all that's gone on is I've just been like dicked around by all the nonprofit agencies. I was like hoping to look for a lawyer because I wanted to talk to them about like I just got kicked back out into the streets. I was in a tiny house with Lehigh, and I didn't want to get. When I first got moved in there, they moved me into the Lake Union one, and that was getting shut down. And I got to an altercation with a staff member because I didn't want to leave all my stuff behind when I moved to Inner Bay. And I believe he was a higher up in the company or whatever, like the male manager of the South Lake Union one. And he, in front of my friend Regina, she was there with me with her boyfriend at the time. And he had picked me up on. We were sitting on a pile of my stuff in front of the tiny homes, waiting to move it to Inner Bay. And he picked up he picked up a box of my things and tried to take them back inside the tiny houses that were being disassembled. And I was like, no, give me my stuff back. And we started playing tug of war. And he ended up picking me up by my throat and like holding me up in the air.
Assaulted you?
Yeah. And he did it in front of the other Lehigh manager, Donna. And everybody it just got really quiet. Like it was just me, her, and him and Regina out on the sidewalk because it was really early in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And in like the beginning of December, when the South Lake Union tiny homes were being shut down, they were being disassembled. It was a day they were actually like getting like torn down, and I had gone back for my stuff, and he had tried to kick me out the night before. Like he just didn't like me, you know. And I had gone to the REACH program and like cried to them about it, and they got called and got his like what he said like xed out, you know. And because I guess he hadn't heard that or whatever, and so when he seen me there, he was super pissed about it. And me and my friend were arguing with him, you know, and he tried to grab a box of my stuff, and I started playing tug of war with it, and like he just dropped, like I kind of like did like a dirty little trick, and I kind of like acted like I was letting go, and then pulled back, and it kind of made him like go off balance a little bit, and it really pissed him off, you know. And like it was just like instinctive. He just picked me up by my throat and like held me in the air, and was like haha, now you're gonna be homeless again, bitch. And like, I don't know, my friend Regina apologized to me afterwards because usually she's really feisty, but like she was even super shocked. She was just like, I didn't think that a square guy would do something like that, like especially a square guy with a job like that. She's like, I was just so shocked. I couldn't believe that he did that to you. I still can't believe it.
She froze.
She didn't do anything. Yeah, no one did. Even the other lady that worked for them, that like was his higher up or something, maybe like she didn't do anything. She just stood there. Everybody just stood there. It was just like time kind of froze for a second.
Yeah.
And then I started kind of getting like weaker, and I was like trying to claw at his hand, and like trying to kick and struggle, and Donna snapped out of it, and he was just like monologuing, talking crap to me, like, oh, haha, bitch, you're gonna be homeless again now, ha ha ha, and like looking up at me, and she was like, that's enough, you can go put your stuff in the U-Haul now, Casandra. And I was like, and he like looked down at her and like dropped me like a bag of potatoes, and I'm like, what? And she's like, you can go put your stuff in the U-Haul now, honey, go ahead, make sure it's only 4 boxes. And I was like, but I didn't want to take another chance for her to like be like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're kicked out, just like you said. I had all my shit out on the sidewalk. I wasn't trying to lose all my stuff, and so I was like, okay. And so I just started grabbing my stuff, and he was like, what the fuck do you mean she's not kicked out? And like started, like, he was acting like a big child, he was like stomping his feet and shit, like, what the fuck do you mean I'm not, like, I just told her she's kicked out, what do you mean? And she was like, can I talk to you inside for a second? And so they went inside the fucking gates, and me and Regina went and stood by the gate, and she basically was like, you cannot kick her out after you just choked her out on a public sidewalk. And so he started throwing a fit about that, and she was like, basically just like laid down the law, was like, you can't do that, like, you're gonna have to wait, like, it can't happen right now, like.
I hear that, I'm like, she wasn't like, call the police,
no,
you're fired, are you okay? None of that.
No, she's acting like it never happened.
Man.
And then like a month later, when I'm staying in Inner Bay, I get to hear her come in and have a meeting about how she has residents calling her, telling her how they feel unsafe in the tiny homes, and how she won't put up with any of her residents not feeling safe from assault. And she will call the police immediately if she finds out another resident hits another resident or anything. And I couldn't help but like sit there and just laugh at her. Like, yeah, just if a resident hits another resident. But if a staff member hits a resident or something like that, then it's cool. Because we're animals,
Yeah, there's a term for that, is dehumanization.
Yeah. There was a lot of that.
Less than human. So.
Yeah, and then like you get into the tiny homes, and there's sweeps on the streets, and then there's sweeps in the tiny homes every day. They have a quota they have to make where they come and they steal everything off of your porch, no matter what it is. It could be like your child's baby book that you saved this whole entire time being homeless. It doesn't matter. If they want it, they take it, and you don't get to say anything. Oh, unless they like you and you're like, someone that like is on the straight and narrow, meaning like you follow all the protocols that they change on a daily basis. And I've never really been like that. I've always kind of been like, I just think that if you're supposed to be setting an example for somebody, that you should have to follow that same example, right?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So like if you're saying that we can't do certain things, then like you should be hiring staff that are going to uphold like what they're supposed to be doing too. And like when I was staying in the tiny homes, there were so many things that were going wrong. People were just like, a friend of mine passed away in the tiny homes. And she was really young. And she was like really sweet.
What was her name?
Heather.
Heather.
Yeah, the last time I talked to her, she was talking about her kids.
Mm.
And how much she missed them. And how she was scared to get kicked out of the tiny homes. And she had gone into the tiny homes with the guy that she was in a relationship with on the streets, and the relationship was turning very bad. And so she got into another relationship in the tiny homes with a guy that was like not very much better, but slightly. But I mean, she just kind of wanted out. And the tiny homes, just like Lehigh just likes to make up rules, like for whatever reason, they're not supposed to get into involvement in our relationships or anything like that, but they felt the need to get involved in hers, and hers is the only case I ever seen there where they did stuff like this, and before they had moved couples, when they would fight, they'd move them into different tiny homes and stuff, but at this point, I guess one of the other couples had just ruined it because they moved in and out of each other's house. They'd been there for 5 years, and they had gone in there together, and they split up on and off again so many times and gotten into separate housing and all kinds of stuff. They'd been moved to like 2 different tiny homes, so this was the last one, and they both finally got housing after 5 years. And they ruined it for everybody else, I guess. And so when she was telling them about the dude throwing her stuff out and like peeing on all her stuff and throwing her stuff out and threatening to like kill her cats and stuff like that, and they like didn't take her seriously for whatever reason, and like that was one of the biggest problems with Lehigh, is like they had favoritism like really bad. When you work with the same staff every day, that's what happens. And if somebody feels like they have a little bit of power over you, they're going to use it. And so for whatever reason, most of the staff there didn't like her, but she had one staff member that wasn't a Lehigh staff member. She was like a counselor from a different company that comes in under contract, I think, with Lehigh. So she didn't directly work for Lehigh, and that staff member pretty much kept Heather housed, because as long as that staff member could speak up for her, then Lehigh couldn't do anything. And that staff member was really good about not being biased, and honestly, if that staff member, Brittany, if she was still there at Lehigh, she was a counselor, I think, for TCS or something. I think that I probably wouldn't got kicked out either. But they didn't keep her there. They moved her somewhere else. Any of the staff members that got along good with I guess the people that weren't popular with upper management, they didn't stay very long at all. Not at all. And so they would get moved really quickly, and they would keep the weaker, the staff members that were more prone to just going with the program type of thing. But yeah, her drug of choice was meth, and she would only eat it. But and she died from a fatty overdose, and she was highly allergic to it, so that's not really possible. And it's they they know the community, they know that people don't want to go talk to the police or anything, and they could have more than they could have made that happen much better. They could have helped that case, and a lot of people came forward and told them about her ex, and the things that Heather had told them, that he used to the reason she only ate meth when she came to the tiny homes was because she used to shoot it up, and he used to make her overamp, and then he would have intercourse with her when she was sleeping, and he said he liked doing it because it was like a dead body or something like that, something crazy like that. And she told people about that, and when she passed away, she had gotten into another relationship with another guy, and he had started doing all this crazy stuff, talking to volatile people that stayed there and trying to get them to assault her, trying to go up to her friends and just trying to make her feel as badly as he possibly could. Like at one point he said something like to me like he wanted her to kill herself, you know, like just crazy stuff, you know. And like I reported it, and the management told me that if then you can go ahead and report it to the police, like we're not gonna like say anything. And the dude that she was talking to at the tiny homes, they pretty much told her no, she couldn't move in with him, that she couldn't do that, it wasn't allowed. Even though they wouldn't have to give up an extra house or anything like that, they just said no, she could not move in with the other guy. And so she had to stay with that guy, and she ended up dying. And I believe that's like directly Lehi's fault. Like there was so many warning signs. She got attacked by a male resident there because her ex went up and told him that she stole a laptop or something that he was working on, and it was just all BS that he was doing to get her to like stop dating this other guy. And the whole entire time he was cheating on her with somebody else. And that lady, she lived behind me behind my tiny house, and after she was dead, she fucking was bragging to people that he had killed her for her. And I reported that too, and they said that wasn't like my business or whatever, that I had to go to the police or whatever. They didn't do anything, and they basically just put a gag order on everybody that like if we kept talking about it, that it would be considered like harassment towards her ex, and that we get kicked out for it.
Heather was not safe there.
No.
Did you feel safe there?
No, I wasn't safe there.
And then so you're no longer at that tiny home, and then so you're on the streets here.
And now I'm less safe. Right 2 days after I got kicked out of the tiny houses, I got caught on fire trying to keep warm. There was a storm, and me and my dog had to go sleep in a truck somewhere, and like there was nothing but alcohol, and I was so tired and like exhausted because like for the last month I'd been fighting with the staff because I'd witnessed some other stuff there, and like come to find out like Lehi's like really does not appreciate whistleblowers at all. And like it's like not a good idea to be one if you're there. And like I got burnt really bad because I fell asleep out here during alcohol fire, and I got burnt really bad, and I burnt most of my hair off, and I got third-degree burns all over my body.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I had witnessed them. I had been there when a staff member broke into another resident's house for drugs, and I told the staff about it, and they didn't fire that staff member, and then she threatened me because she said I was a snitch, and that's when I got kicked. They put her on leave, so she's going to come back after me and all the other residents that were related to that incident are kicked out. And from what I heard, like the most of us that were related to that incident, like the people that I begged to come forward and write an incident report about it, they've all been kicked out. So yeah.
Can you zip that up so the mic is,
oh sorry
no, it'll better.
But yeah, so we've all been kicked out. Everybody that was related to that incident have been kicked out. Everybody that actually followed through and wrote a report for me, I didn't know I was like affecting their housing. I thought I was making us all safe by being like connected with one another, you know?
Yeah, so everyone got kicked out and just goes to the streets.
Yeah.
And then those people do they have like a...
Nothing.
But I mean, the people that you thought you were helping, are they angry at you?
The girl whose house she broke into, she kind of has a mental disorder, and like that's one of the reasons why it alarmed me, because she used like this is a staff wellness check, you know, and like just pulled this whole crazy thing and let the people in that weren't supposed to go in there. And that's what it alarmed me, you know, because the girl, she couldn't like speak for herself really because she's in and out of lucidness, you know. And so I said something because it really just bothered me. And so they like did the whole report, and then like while they were doing the report, they're like, "Here, nothing's gonna come back on you for this." And of course, like when they kick you out, they give you like a couple hours to get all your stuff out. And I got told during the time that my case manager, so my case manager for me that I known the whole time I've been there, she had just the day before put in her notice that she was leaving and that she wouldn't be there the next day, and that's the day they kicked me out. And the main manager, she knew what was going on. She knew that I had no phone at the time, and that I had my driver's license was coming there, you know what I'm saying? So I had like no resources, and like they're pretty weird about getting people phones in there. Like for some reason, like some people they'll tell you they can get you a phone, other people they'll say they can't. But the majority of people there don't seem to have a phone unless like they have some outside party, like a parent or something, paying for it.
Yeah.
And I don't have that luxury, so I didn't have a phone. And so when they kicked me out, I had to run around the tiny houses like a mad person trying to find somebody with a phone to try to beg my family to help get my stuff that I collected over the last year. But that's like the whole goal, is that they keep your stuff, because allegedly they have a big storage unit where they sell stuff.
Sell stuff or store stuff?
Sell stuff. They keep a lot of donations too.
Yeah, that's some. That story is a good example of like lived experience with inside a tiny home and the goings on that happens between the residents and the staff, and it just sounds so chaotic and confusing.
It's really bad. I like when I first got there. I started getting used by a guy because I'm like a really big fan of animals, and like he had a dog that I was supposed to get, and he was abusing the dog, and he started using the dog as a way to get stuff from me, you know. Like, I'm so mad right now, like if I don't get what I want, I'm probably just gonna beat the fuck out of my dog type shit, you know.
He just has leverage.
And I couldn't handle it, you know, like I couldn't handle the dog crying and shit like that, and like the guy doing shit to the dog, and I was like, Heather hated it too, you know, and we would all team up together and like tell the staff about it, and I never knew that it was just putting more and more points against me, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, they tell you to feel safe coming to them if you have any issues, but really, like, anytime you have any complaint besides thank you for putting me in like the little shed house that's not really mine, you know what I'm saying, it's a point against you, you know. Yeah. So I was a problem resident.
Yeah, I've talked to people, and they've been offered tiny homes, and they'd said no thank you.
Yeah.
And I think
there
are reasons why people don't want to go there, and that's, you know. Well,
this is the second time I had this happen to me. The first one was with Catholic Community Services with the Aloha, and like the similar situation happened. It's crazy. Like, it's like I don't have a criminal record, you know. Like, I have no criminal record. Like, so like they just treat everybody like they're criminals, you know. Like, if you get mad or upset about something they do to you that anybody would get mad or upset about, they are like, do you want us to call the police? And, you know, I guess most people in my situation must be criminals or something, or that's what they assume, because, you know, you're supposed to get scared and be like, oh no, don't call the police, please, you know. And then, like, if you ever say something like, oh, go ahead, call the police, you know, then you should just be aware that fucking the police are going to show up, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you have to say. It doesn't matter what your record is. You're living there, so you're a mental case, and so they don't give a fuck what you're saying. You're lying, and this person that's in a nice suit and tie is the person that, or casually dressed, whatever, the person that's working there is the person that's always telling the truth, not you. Doesn't matter. You're not going to look at the cameras, nothing like that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's always that levels, right?
Yeah. So all my stuff got taken.
How long ago was this?
This 2 months ago.
Oh, recently.
Yeah.
And so have you been here for a couple months?
No, you can't stay anywhere in Ballard for a couple months.
Yes, true. Sweep, you get swept.
Yeah, and no, I don't stay in one place. It's not really safe to stay in one place, but at least it's better than having people smile in your face and saying that they're going to keep you safe as they're doing you extremely dirty and stealing, you know, plotting on stealing your stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's just the whole get down is really weird with the whole nonprofit organization thing, because like it seems to be like a year before someone can get into another nonprofit after they get kicked out of one. So it makes me like wonder if like maybe like grant fund, like, you know, And there's like, the whole thing with like Donald Trump taking out the grant security program. So now there's no security people like auditing the program. So now any nonprofit can just do whatever the hell they want to do. And they don't have to speak to anybody.
Yeah, it's messy. It's
Yeah.
messy for sure.
So like no one's checking up on the programs. No one has time to do anything if they're not getting paid for doing it. So why would anybody take the time to do it if they're not getting paid for it?
Yeah. You're talking about that tiny home. Like, man, they sound really understaffed.
They're not understaffed. They have a lot of staff members. Yeah, no, like they have temp agencies too that they get like regular workers from sometimes. But it's like it's not understaffed. It's the issue is like with the abilities that they give the staff, because like what they don't tell you is that they're also hiring people from like within other villages and stuff to come like manage, you know what I'm saying? They're hiring other homeless people to deal with homeless people. So it gets to be like this weird ass like mentality of like you have someone that's like an associate possibly or an acquaintance like bossing you around, or possibly having a vendetta against you and trying to get you kicked out of your spot because now they work there. Like it's there was a few staff members there that like did drugs or drank, like on the job, and they would tell residents about it. And like, after a while of someone telling you they're doing the same thing as you, but they're working in your spot, you're going to end up saying something to somebody like, hey, so why is she getting treated like she's a staff member, but she does drugs? And like, now she's telling on me for what?
Yeah, not much trust.
No. And what they do is they just throw them into a different tiny house village. Like, oh, okay, all the people here hate you now, so now go to this other tiny village. And then they just slander people, and then it just gets weird when the tiny houses end up like getting shut down, and they have to come into that tiny house, and you hear about that staff members are running their mouths about you in other tiny house villages. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's a fucking mess.
Sounds like a TV show.
I wanted to record. Actually, the last day that I got kicked out, the manager, she was like, "Hey, Casandra, we need to talk to you about something." And they were doing inspections, and so I thought it was about my inspection, And she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Hold on a second." I was like, "Is it about the inspection?" She's like, "No, actually, we have some," and I could see that she had like a male walking with her, because she thought that because I'm argumentative with her, she just assumed that I was gonna be like a hood rat and like try to assault her or something. So I was like, yeah, hold on a second. So I run back and I grab my tablet, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get this on video. So I'm like, okay, so I just want to let you know that I'm recording because like we're on a public Seattle property, so I can do that, And like in the video, like I'm like, hey, don't touch my stuff, because she tries to slap the fucking tablet out of my hand. And she's like, you can't do that. And she slaps the tablet out of my hand. And I was like, bro, you can't touch my shit. You can't touch my shit. Like, you brought it in. Like, it was so funny to me because I knew that she brought the guy there because she thought I was going to act up.
And she acted up.
Yeah, she's the one that ended up acting up, Trying to stop the tablet out of my hand, saying that I couldn't record on Seattle public property, me being evicted illegally from their tiny house village because I was running my mouth too much about the inner goings of it, Like, whatever.
And henceforth, at the beginning, you said trying to contact a lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I need to contact a lawyer about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I was cocky with her for a while too. I was like, you can't kick me out of here, bro, because like you don't even know what happened. Donna knows what happened though, and Donna was her boss, too. And I guess Donna like got cocky and was like, you're never going to do anything about this, so yeah, I'm kicking you out. Because she has to run who she ever kicks out through Donna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I guess for a while when she was trying to kick me out, she was like, no, and then Donna was finally like, it's probably been enough time. She didn't sue yet, so like, kick the bitch out.
A couple more questions before we wrap up. I'm curious about your kids. You in contact with them at all?
I have contact with my oldest daughter. Right now, I just, stuff gets stolen out here all the time. My oldest daughter, I talk to her. My second daughter, she's in Saudi Arabia with her dad.
Wow.
So no one has contact with her. Or him.
There's always that piece of this and the unknown and YouTube, and who knows who will see this.
Yeah, it might not be a good thing though. Saudis are like really prideful, and I look like shit right now, and my husband would probably just be like disgusted.
this is a version of you. This is not you, Casandra. There's more to you than this current situation.
Yeah, that's like an Americanized way of thinking, though. Not
It's
everybody
true.
thinks that way.
That is true. I am American and I've been born and raised in America. That's true. Yes, cultural differences.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And one
But
last question.
I have two other kids too. I have
yeah. Okay.
I have another daughter and a son, and they're small still. So, yeah. I'm hoping to get them.
Yeah. They're young. How young?
3 and 2.
Oh yeah, very young.
Yeah. I had told my case manager, Susanna, that I had wanted to get into like family housing, not to get put into one of these like housing buildings where they're dropping off all of the outcast, aka drug addicts, you know. I didn't want to get put in one of those because you can't have kids there, you know. And my case manager was like, yeah, I'm gonna start looking for family places for you, you know. But like, I don't know, I kind of felt like betrayed about that because like she knew the whole entire time she was gonna be quitting soon, which probably means that she knew I was getting kicked out soon too. So like, whatever, you know. But yeah, I know how, like, I'm pretty much guessing too that like with the nonprofits, that like the more like, you know, crazy your story is, like the better for them if they can get you off the streets, you know. But then there's the haphazard of getting people like me that aren't like willing to, like, you know, brown nose.
Yeah, like play the game.
Yeah.
One last question before we wrap up. Casandra, is there anything you'd want the people of Seattle to know?
Lehigh is a fucking joke. And so is Catholic Community Services. And they're horrible people, and they should be stopped, because all they do is take homeless people off the streets, get the grant money, and then kick them right the fuck back out. Because there's no cure for homelessness. The cure is, you know what I'm saying, being compassionate with people when they have issues. That's the cure.
Tell me more about that.
You know, you know, like if you're people are missing certain things, you know, like certain things that they needed growing up or whatever, you know. And you know, like the American attitude is to like not be a pussy about it and just like deal with it, you know. And like that's like, that only works for so long, you know. People just like want to be, you know, they just want to be understood. And an inanimate object can't make you a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing something doesn't make you a bad person. Drinking water doesn't make you a bad person. Doing drugs doesn't make you a bad person. It's like what's in your character that makes you good or bad. You know, that's really what it is. And the government shouldn't have so much control over what an individual family does. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Good to hear your voice. Appreciate your vulnerability.
Thanks.
You open for a hug? Yeah, hang in there. Hang in there, Casandra. Had a fucking rough go.